For the past decade or so, one could always decipher Donald Trump's intentions, whether you agreed with his views or not. He made it a point to communicate his thoughts directly, cutting through political noise and naysayers and name calling, while critics on the left often replay his statements and twist the context or just play a snippet of what he really said. It's undeniable that Donald Trump has always been upfront with his intentions and has been generally transparent with all that he does. Now, recently when it comes to South Africa, things have started shifting a little bit with how he's operating. As someone who observes politics myself, I've witnessed not only the decline of the left, but also there's this resurgence or unexpected popularity of Donald Trump in America. Interestingly, many believe that Trump was the definite front runner in 2024 because of his relatable nature, but also of his perceived authenticity. Voters seem to be drawn to the fact that he operates outside of the political sphere. He is not a politician. In the past month, Donald Trump's popularity has soared. You could see that in his poll numbers and a lot of people praising his efforts and the amount of executive orders that he's been signing. Now, I've examined his engagements with South Africa. Trump is beginning to adopt more of a political stance rather than the disposition of a businessman. And here's what I believe that shift is and the signs of where this is going. This thing starts on the 3rd of February. Well, actually 7th of October 2003. But for this story, let's start on the 3rd of February in 2025.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the OnTheContrary podcast.
Am I allowed to swear in here?
In Sweden.
Yeah, I know we said let's not blame the government.
It's just sad when we start them becoming indoctrinated.
Your view on me.
Benjamin Bibi Netanyahu visits Donald Trump at the White House. The conflict in the Middle East remains intense, and Donald Trump has vowed to finalize the ceasefire agreement to put an end to all the killing and the death.
In our meetings today, the Prime Minister and I focused on the future, discussing how we can work together to ensure Hamas is eliminated and ultimately restore peace to a very troubled region. I also strongly believe that the Gaza Strip, which has been a symbol of death and destruction for so many decades and so bad for the people anywhere near it, and especially those who live there, and frankly, who's been really very unlucky. It's been very unlucky. It's been an unlucky place for a long time. Being in its presence just has not been good, and it should not go through a process of rebuilding and occupation by the same people that have really stood there and fought for it and lived there and died there and lived a miserable existence there.
Now, it seems these two are taking time to reconnect and discuss how the US might be able to support Israel's efforts. It's crucial to note that Netanyahu at this point has an arrest warrant related to war crimes, which I can imagine limits his options and his movements significantly. During his visit, he probably confides in Donald Trump saying something like, "Yo, bruh, you need to help me with this case, man. I don't know what I'm gonna do, and it's gonna be tough once I'm no longer in office. They're already complaining about me." And Donald Trump responds, "Don't worry, bruh. If you're loyal to me, I'm loyal to you. I'll sort you out." Did you see what I said yesterday?
So on Truth Social, you said that you were gonna cut aid
from South Africa. Will you plan to cut aid across other African nations, and why South Africa?
No, it's only South Africa. Terrible things are happening in South Africa. The leadership is doing some terrible things, horrible things. So that's under investigation right now. We'll make a determination. And until such time as we find out what South Africa is doing, they're taking away land, they're confiscating land, and actually they're doing things that are perhaps far worse than that.
Now, how is all of this connected, you might say?
For 3 months, the world has looked on in horror at the scenes from Gaza. The huge numbers of Palestinian civilians killed or forced to move, the sheer level of destruction. South Africa says this is evidence of genocide. Israel says that's an outrageous accusation. According to a 1948 convention, genocide is a crime committed with the intent to destroy a national, ethnic, racial or religious group in whole or in part. That, South Africa says, is what Israel is doing in Gaza. Just look at the statistics. Israel has killed more than 23,000 Palestinians. More than 300,000 housing units have been damaged or destroyed. And around 85% of the population has been displaced.
South Africa is taking Israel to the International Criminal Court, standing up for those who can't speak for themselves. It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild that American media hasn't spoken about this. They haven't picked this up. They haven't mentioned that Bibi is currently a fugitive. You won't hear much about it from the left or the right because it probably doesn't fit either of their agendas. Also important to remember, South Africa has some sort of moral weight because of Nelson Mandela and the legacy and all those things. And if we say it's apartheid, we know because we are the experts.
We identify with the PLO because just like ourselves, they are fighting for the right of self-determination. I went further, however, to say that the support for Yasser Arafat in his struggle does not mean that the ANC has ever doubted the right of Israel to exist as a state legally.
Just a reminder, if you weren't watching, but some of you might know, the case then escalated.
The International Criminal Court has issued arrest warrants for Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant for alleged war crimes in the Gaza Strip. It's also issued warrants for Hamas leader Mohammed Diab al-Masri.
Hey, does this not sound like the same arrest warrant that Putin got for war crimes in Ukraine? Now, the thing is, Israel has 2 issues here, maybe 3. In this plan of theirs to take over Gaza or the Middle East and the Gaza Strip, all these things, in this plan, the problem is, as much as you are killing these people daily, they aren't giving up. They aren't giving up, and it doesn't seem like it's going to end soon. Number 2, the world is not going to stand by and watch this retaliation of yours being taken this far. Number 3, if South Africa is saying you are busy with apartheid, then it must be really bad because we are the experts of apartheid. Now, the first one might be the easiest to solve. Because Donald Trump has promised now, for a while now, that he'll be the one to broker the ceasefire deal. And that's the first one to get out of the way. I don't know how this is part of what's the name's plan, but definitely part of Donald Trump's plan. Let's work out a ceasefire. Let's put an end to the killing for now. But the problem is a ceasefire doesn't make the warrant of arrest go away. So now we need another plan. Now Donald Trump needs to think like a politician. We need to discredit South Africa. We need to find a way to discredit these guys. Take away that moral currency that they have. How do we make them drop the case?
The United States has ordered an end to all federal funding to South Africa. This follows an executive order signed last month by US President Donald Trump, who's repeated his false claim that the government was confiscating white farmers' land. He also reiterated his offer of sanctuary to farmers fleeing the country because they fear for their safety. The announcement comes a week after a lobby group of minority white Afrikaners met with Trump at the White House. President Cyril Ramaphosa criticized their visit, accusing them of undermining the country's sovereignty. US government data shows that foreign assistance commitments to South Africa came in at over $323 million in 2024. The money was used in initiatives and programs as wide-ranging as climate change, the promotion of gender equality and improving healthcare.
Now we find ourselves trying to understand the strategy behind this decision. Are we seeing the emergence of Donald Trump, the politician? South Africa is the true home of political freedom. Trust me, because we have opposing views here and people are allowed to express it. And I do believe South Africa is the best school of politics in the world. Now, can you believe that Donald Trump is going to accuse South Africa of the very thing that we are saying Israel is doing? The very thing that Netanyahu has got the case for. Here's the executive order that went out. Section 1, the purpose. In shocking disregard of its citizens' rights, the Republic of South Africa recently enacted the Expropriation Act 13 of 2024 to enable the government of South Africa to seize ethnic minority Afrikaners' agricultural property without compensation. This act follows countless government policies designed to dismantle equal opportunity in the employment, education, and business, and hateful rhetoric and government actions fueling disproportionate violence against racially disfavored landowners. Many things wrong there. In addition, South Africa has taken aggressive positions towards the United States and its allies, including accusing Israel, not Hamas, of genocide in the International Court of Justice and reinvigorating its relations with Iran to develop commercial, military, and nuclear arrangements. Now, for a second, let's not wonder about whether South Africa is currently conducting a genocide or whether our laws are truly racist or not. Let's assume that they are and that there is. Because at least Donald Trump believes that is true. Now the real question is, does Donald Trump really care about the Afrikaner community? Or are they just being used as a political pawn to try and get Israel out of its mess? What do you think? Please drop me a comment and let's discuss. I'm Emilio Tobias and this is the OnTheContrary podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the OnTheContrary podcast.
Am I allowed to swear there?
In Sweden.
Yeah, I know we said let's not blame the government.
It's just sad when we start them becoming indoctrinated.
Your view on me.